I think one of the greatest creative blocks that I've seen a lot of creatives have, and this is coming from a flow state specialist, is the willingness not to improve, the willingness to just, experience failure and then staying there, right? Not going on to the next thing, not having that resilience or that internal willpower to decide how to move on. So a lot of creatives, I see them stuck on one particular creative block, which is the inability to push through, to have that grit, that ferocity. Okay, a lot of creative people, they don't have that ferocity alive. They're very airy-fairy, right, in a sense, rather than a compact, down-to-earth, spiritual, deep understanding of a craft. As a creative, you've got to find joy and elation in the most unexpected places. Okay, you have to see the magic in the mundane. You have to see the beautiful in the ugly or the abandoned or the tattered, right? The idea of an abandoned warehouse being aesthetic is this concept called wabi-sabi, if you ever heard of it, right? They used to make these clay pots, these Japanese clay pots out of gold, and emphasizing the cracks. So if a clay pot smashed in half, they would put it together with gold to accentuate the imperfection, which makes it a part of the craft. I say this in my book, TPM. You gotta trademark your flaws. You gotta trademark your flaws. Because nobody has the same level and depth of a flaw than you with your own personal one. It's so important to get energized by inspiring artists. If you have a creative block, you're probably isolating yourself and you're putting yourself into one small space or one cubicle, right? So my advice to you would be to do things that are novel to you, right? New experiences of variety would be the core need, right? That you need to amplify in order for you to really stay in that pocket or stay in that flow state. I love using my verbal acumen, verbal wit, so I love, sometimes I'll play like word games like Scrabble or, crosswords or whatever it is, and I will start to amplify, right? I'll start to just stack that. So let's just say I'm trying to write some lyrics, okay? And if nothing's coming to my mind, I'm not getting inspired. You can't force inspiration like that, man. You gotta create the right conditions for it. Maybe you have your environment a little bit dim, so it puts you in that subconscious state. Maybe you have like music blaring from different genres, right? In a weird playlist that just breaks you out of the pattern. Maybe you take a new road through the park that you've never explored before and has been in your hometown for decades. This is the kind of mentality that I want you to take on, this discovery mentality of I want to learn something new. Please give me something to ingest and incorporate into my beingness. We know this already. More flow, more creativity, more productivity, more happiness. That's fine. But what about the moments of microflow, in the moment where you're not enjoying work? Or the moment where you don't feel like the man or the woman of the situation? Let's say you feel repressed by something that's just stacking in your mind that you want to flush out, but you can't, right? These are the little moments and pockets to practice your flow state dojo. You see, when life challenges you, you challenge it back. That's the mindset, right? So as a creative, I want you to have a little bit more badass nature within you, right? Where you're like, yo, just because I'm a creative doesn't mean that I get to stay in this corner and not explore my creativity. I'm gonna take risks, right? Emotional risks, sometimes even physical risk, right? Like a graffiti artist, they go on top of a building to try to get there, right? That's a different craft, obviously, kind of more of a vigilante craft. The feeling that a lot of creatives describe this as is like a dark cloud over their head. I don't know if you guys have felt something similar to this. But this dark cloud over your head, it almost feels like an inky blot mess, right? You can't really make head or tail of it. It's just this black hole of negativity, right? It just permeates over your head. But understand, it's okay. It's okay to hide from this thing, okay? It's okay to be in bed in a duvet covers for a few days until you come out of it much stronger. Okay, you got to understand your own system way better than any doctor, physiotherapist or personal trainer can. You have to understand your own body and your own mind, right? Like a You got to understand your own mind better than a mentalist or a psychologist or, you know, a pharmaceutical representative can. You see, because your brain is the greatest pharma on planet Earth. If you can find ways to access it, you're going to change your life, man. It's as simple as that. You're not using your brain. A lot of people are killing their brain cells rather than using their brain. I'm not saying this to shame people who are not thriving for intellectual or academic endeavors. That would be very strange of me. It's like that character from, you know, Courage the Cowardly Dog, you know, that Asian guy would always be like, oh, but I must be the best. Success is the way to go. And I don't want to be that guy. I don't want to be that Asian guy that promotes just work hard and it will be fine. Just you're not working hard enough. Okay? That's not the solution. The older generation feels like that's the solution. Just keep working hard, keep studying. Okay? That's not the solution. That's not the solution. It's working smarter. It's understanding resourcefulness. It's making connections with people. It's being your own set of walking principles. If there's a voice in your head saying that you can't paint, by all means start painting and that voice will disappear. Jordan Sigmund said that creativity is like a mountain without a peak. Okay? So it's okay if you're giving yourself room to breathe. Some of you are not even giving yourselves room to breathe, okay? You're like, I need to create, there's a deadline coming next week and I must. Whoa. Give yourself some space to let the ideas marinate. Go for a walk, do something completely different, right? Go walk your dog and come back, eat a slice of pie or something from a random cafe and then come back. Okay, watch an anime that's completely out of the genre that you've been watching it and just be baffled and bewildered by it. Like, whoa, this Japanese is kind of a cool language, right? Or something. Like, you need newness, you need novelty. In order for you to be a creative, you got to seek these thrilling or exciting or aesthetic, artistic experiences. There's a part of the avatar of the artist or the archetype of the artist that wants to seek adventure, that wants to have thrills and make their life a spectacle. You know that Indian guy that does like motivational videos? It's okay to just say fuck it. Give up. It's absolutely fine, right? That guy, he's speaking some truth there, man. Okay? Because a lot of us, we're in this culture of never give up, never quit. Now, there's nuance to this, obviously, right? I'm not saying that that's the end-all, be-all rule, is that, you know, never give up, or even that give up sometimes, okay? What I'm saying is try and stay in the frequency of you not giving so much of your time, energy, effort to try to control this situation or this other person. If you're uninspired, that's it. You just be uninspired for a while. That's okay, right? Is it okay for you to be uninspired for a little bit? Is it okay for you to just sit in boredom and just contemplate and just tune into your breathing? Is it okay? Or is it that you feel this pull that culture is telling you to get married and move towards a specific structure and do these certain things that you feel so trapped by it all? We all wish we had like a father figure to just come in and tell us when we have a creative block, like one thing at a time, Jimmy, one thing at a time. Okay? Focus on just that one thing, just that one punch. Just keep doing it over and over again. We wish we had that, right? In creativity. We have that in sports, but do we have that in creativity or spirituality? This is why I see spirituality and creativity like an extreme sport. We do it Primal Sutra, right? Ideally, you want to do this thing because it's fun to you. Okay, creativity is meant to be fun. It's not meant to be this, you know, looming dark task where it becomes forced. And then that's why a lot of people have creative hobbies, right? In a sense, and they don't make it their main career line, or even if they do, you know, it's like they got to find a way to really, really monetize on that and figure it out, right? Some people have figured that part out, right? A great book that I saw for songwriters specifically was the 4D Songwriter, I believe it's called. That really gave me some unique perspectives of how you can actually market yourself, right? And put yourself out there as an artist. It's okay to do work and make it look silly, okay? It's okay to do something and then it's completely childish and, you know, not gonna be published. You gotta get okay with scrapping your ideas. This is something I had to learn a while back, man. You gotta get okay with scrapping your ideas. Don't be like, oh, this is my baby, I must hold on to it for dear life. Stop going with that mentality, because that mentality is just attachment, right? It's fear. It's like, I don't want to lose my artwork. Someone's going to take it away from me. You're in a wrong paradigm, my friend. You're the creator, right? So you're here to create. You're here to be free. You're here to explore. You're here to be a learner, a student of life. It's important for you to think big, right? It's important for you to think big. But it's also important for you to give yourself a little bit of a break. You're not giving yourself enough credit that you deserve. Yes or no? True or false, right? You need to give yourself way more pats on the back, way more, man, I did that. Yo, I got up another day. I did my thing, man. I showed up. I feel good. Yeah, I'm interacting. I'm sharing my thoughts on this YouTube video so people can resonate with it, right? I was channeling this frequency of osmosis. He had something to say from the Galactic Federation of Light. Now, this is, to some of you, this is just absolute garbage, right? You're like, what the hell is he talking about? But there is this very, very important message that he said. If you want in on the message, you got to join our Telegram group for Primal Sutra, okay, where we do these channeling sessions and so forth. So if you want to join that, let me know, shoot me a message on Instagram or something, and I'll add you to that group if you're interested, because it's free. It's free unless you want a very specified, session with one of these deities that I work with, and then we can figure something out otherwise, okay?
If you've been considering working with the team from Primal Sutra, let me tell you a bit about my experience. It was powerful, it was humbling to actually be able to reach out and talk with Horus, to speak with Horus, to work with Horus, and have a conversation on a level that you just can't normally find on this world. And then to see the blessings, the changes, and the people that have come into my life, the beautiful women that have come into my life, their ability to help and change others. If you are thinking about this, stop thinking about it and just fucking do it.
But honestly, for the longest time, I've been scared to talk about these things. I've been scared to talk about spirituality. I'm scared to talk about, my creativity, past history and stuff like this. And nowadays, I'm just like, whatever, man. I'm not attached to that anymore. And I'm sharing from my heart, from an open space, right? From a space where I can truly transform myself and be the trailblazer for all of these young men and women to come through at such a pinnacle point in our society where we need to make a change. If you want to be a part of this journey, you have to apply yourself. You have to apply yourself creatively. These AI, art things, okay, it's trendy, I get it, but I did it, okay? What's cool about this concept is they take a person's just image, and again, it might be a whack thing because it's like taking art that is not fully sourced from, other artists. Basically, it's art theft in a sense, the AI Lensa thing. However, besides that point, let's look at it logically, and let's just see that, okay, this thing is telling me, hey, you gave me your face, here are some archetypes to work with, right? Here are some, well, a lot of them look like they're missing a chromosome, but that's besides the point, right? The eye is like suddenly here, or if you have a tattoo or something, it like moves it. But it's doing the best that it can, right? This AI machine thing. Here's examples of, what it came up with for me. And I almost look at these images and I go, wait, that looks like kind of like my higher self, or that's how I want to inspire myself to be. And so I believe that the vision board, the manifestation, all using this VR, this augmented reality and technology is going to make it easier for us to merge basically a fantasy world with a real world. Slowly, as people recognize this and we understand that the culture is moving slowly more towards escaping reality, that we've got to also take control of this thing. Otherwise, we're going to turn out like WALL-E, okay? Like those fat dudes in the chair just don't give up and convenience is all there for them. Like, that's the opposite of what I want to be, man. Really, though? Really? Do you really want to function like that and be like that? Some of you are like, I'm fine being like that. It is what it is. Life is pointless and meaning anyway. I'm stuck in this shitty marriage, and so, dude, listen to yourself speak. Okay? Who taught you to think like this? It certainly wasn't a good male, confident role model, right? It was some whack person, probably some shriveled up entrepreneur telling you to think in these deceitful and weird ways to try to chase the Lambo or chase the bag or chase the girl, instead of being your truest representation of who you decided to be in this lifetime. You see, a real man is, by its definition, real. He's just real. He's just authentic. He's not trying to hide something or micromanage himself or try to appear greater than he is. Oh, look at me, I'm so cool. I'm so freaking cool. That's off-putting, man. Nobody likes to be around that. That's why in The Art of Seduction, they tell you one of the anti-seductive qualities is self-absorption, right? Of being so into yourself that you trap yourself out of the flow state because you're like constantly in self-consciousness. So your ego has to fade away through something, some level of ego death, whether you do, psilocybin mushrooms, or you run through the forest, wearing a onesie, or you take part in some cultural, recreational, tribal dancing, or whatever it is, you gotta find ways to access altered states of mind. And once you can do that in a healthy and, safe way, obviously, right? We're responsible adults here on this channel, right? You're not gonna go do something illegal and stupid just because, right? I find it so bizarre that once I move away from, Bali, that the Indonesian government bans sex before marriage. Say what? Say what? I find that fascinating. Okay? That's a big question mark for me. But in any case, let's talk about creativity, okay? You want to create, which means that you want to take on different points of view and then come from your unique point of view, okay? Through your new lens, through evolving your character as an artist, right? As you experience different things in life. This is why traveling helped me so much in my artwork, right? It gave me different perspectives to draw from. But if you've been in one place for 15 or 16 years, you've never seen the world, you're like, yeah, I always want to save up. I always want to go on vacation, but you never do. You never do. And I was like this too, man. I never took a break. I get it. We live in a culture that just doesn't appreciate breaks, It doesn't appreciate, corresponds breaks with slacking. And that's just not true. It's the recovery phase, guys. Honestly, the video here is just take it easier on yourself. You're not going to have creative blocks if you relax more. Okay, and let the ideas come to you rather than trying to, push it out. What if you had a mindset like a doula, right, would give help with the birth? What if the doula here is your mindset to get you to give birth to this artwork right now? So the process is less clunky, more efficient, and sustainable and healthy and inspiring. They're here to help you facilitate the metaphysical world and the physical world, okay? That's a very important job. I met a doula, actually. One of my, let's just say acquaintances, friends from high school, she became a doula, actually, as her full-time job. So I find that very interesting. I think it's quite incredible to find a new, that's definitely a new age job, right? That's a definitely new age occupation, a doula. If you've never even heard that term, now you guys are going, oh, okay. I never even knew that term existed, right? And it's like, now that you know, there's new possibilities, there's more avenues, right, for you. We got to understand fertility is going to be a big problem in the future. So we got to harness our chi and our energies and protect our own energies and ourselves, because everything stems from that sexual energy, that libido, that life force. We got to protect our life force, man. And that's how we're going to be more creative and charismatic and be in the zone, right? Just like how I am, like most of the time. I'm just like this, I'm going around, I'm floating universes, I'm, tapping into different dimensions, and I'm doing it. I'm just doing it, okay? Have an incredible day. May the flow be with you. Hit that subscribe button if you're new. Hit me up if you need some coaching or counseling or therapy in any sense. I'm not a therapist, but then again, what I do is very therapeutic. So have an incredible day. May the flow be with you and stay legendary. Let's go. Boom.